OOP, or a strange look at object-oriented programming. Programming is a thing for humans. It is a talent we all have. When I was a baby, I had a thing about pixels. But back then, I saw programming as telling the computer what to do line by line. I would say something like, go to 0, 0, start a line, now go to 10, 10, and now move to 20, 20. I could just plot a line by moving to different coordinates on the screen, sort of dragging it behind me. I had a lot to learn about computers. I really did not know anything. For many years, I would just open shareware programs, figure out how they work, close them, and never use them, at all. Yeah, I learned how to edit audio in a very similar program to the one that's on my screen right now. I was just a teenager back then. Really cool memories. Shortly thereafter, I learned how to make web pages, how to put HTML together to display things on the screen. It was really cool, but I really wanted to open a blank programmable window. Window just for me to edit and mold and shape. I didn't really have any programs in mind. Maybe something like a Rolodex. But that was about it. I just wanted to experiment. I wanted to start things, play around, figure out how they work, and just end them and move on to the next thing. Just as soon as I get it open in a program called Visual Basic 5, I needed a button to actually do something. And when I clicked it, I was thrown into a code editor in the middle of a function. It was something like the name of the button followed by an underscore and the word click. Yum. Click was an event name. You could also trigger a double click, DBL click. How cool is that? This was no longer line by line. Here I was jumping into a really long program divided into functions. Things didn't flow anymore. They jumped. For years and years, all the important programming was done with functions. You made functions, you called other functions from within functions. It was really fun. Then it got really weird. It was necessary to upgrade, to change something. Because once you had hundreds of functions, you had to categorize, organize, refactor, and that was really boring. This idea of a bag came up. Basically, you could bag a bunch of related functions together. People always give the example of a cat or animal or person or Alice, but the example of a file works best. If you put all the file functions like move, copy, delete into a file bag, then you would have everything in one place, right where you need it, next to the file. It's like automatic categorization. Cool beans. You still wrote functions everywhere. It was always functions. But here, inside an object, They are called methods. It gets weirder, like super weird. Since you can nest objects by saying this object has a list object and the list object can contain other objects that may also contain a list with other objects in them. You can make a game by saying room has a list named doors that contain other rooms. Or travel the universe by saying new location, name, edge of the universe, add a transporter room, stat, and then teleport to Earth, where the program would say, object Earth has not yet been defined. Do you want to describe it? Yeah, it's weird, but also really cool. My favorite object is a radio. I almost always put a radio inside my programs. I make all the program components listen to it, and then just emit messages like change background image to sunny.jpg. This way, I don't have to think about where the function for it is. I just broadcast the message, and I know that the function will hear it.